name is Ashleigh Holt, and this is my story. I grew up a pastor's daughter. Church was a really big part of my life. But when my parents got divorced, we were basically exiled from the church. So I felt really hurt, forgotten, a bit scarred. When I met my husband, we both had faith, but we really didn't attend church regularly for years. When my husband and I were finally ready to start our family, it didn't happen as easily as we had hoped. So we did some tests, we talked to doctors, and eventually we got pregnant with our first son, Ashton. So about halfway through the pregnancy, we found out that Ashton had a severe heart defect. But the doctors had hope, and they gave us a plan. He would have a few surgeries, and then he would go on to live a normal life. The pregnancy itself went really well. The birth went as smoothly as it could possibly go. But after 5 weeks of having Ashton in our lives, he passed away. We were shocked beyond belief. We were devastated. We always knew that we would bring him home. It was just a question of when. Driving home with an empty car seat is something I would never wish on anybody. Everyone grieves differently. My husband and I were there for each other, but I really shut down afterwards. The trauma of losing Ashton made me go into a deep depression. I felt hopeless. It was really hard to even get out of bed in the morning, let alone do anything productive. I knew I couldn't live like that forever. A close friend of mine attended Journey, and the moment we lost Ashton, Journey stepped in. People we didn't even know showed up for us. Families that had lost children came to our sides. We didn't deserve it. We didn't earn it. The love we experienced from Journey was not the same as my experience with the church in the past. The Spirit started to tug on my heart that I needed to be in church to find healing, but I had to overcome some scars from my past. So that same friend invited me to join a women's group. At that point, I still wasn't quite functioning in society. I was really scared that I would go out and people would see me and ask how the baby was. But this was a safe group of women that loved Jesus, and they already knew what I had been through, and they were willing to walk with me through the hard stuff. It was this close community that really started my healing process. My husband and I really started to build our community of other Christians that could pour into us and help us get through the next steps of our life. Yet we still really wanted to grow our family, so we started praying and asking God to open the right doors and give us the right next steps. We did end up conceiving another child. We hoped and prayed for the best. But again, at the halfway point, we found out there was a heart defect. This time it was minor. It wasn't nearly as severe as Ashton's. But a week before the due date, there was no heartbeat. I would have to go through giving birth to a stillborn. So we went to the hospital to give an induced birth to our second son, Luca. It was the night before Thanksgiving, but so many people showed up for us. We had all of our family there, but also several of our close friends from Journey, and one of our pastors even showed up. They stayed with us, they grieved with us, they prayed with us throughout the night, and we played worship music the whole time. Even though it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, there was peace. Jesus was there. People could tell the difference from the hallway to the room because God was present. We still had a great deal of grief and heartache to work through after losing Luca, but this time it was completely different. I was able to function afterwards. I had a whole community of people walking by my side with Jesus and speaking life into us. The pain and heartache didn't even compare. Not long after losing Luca, we felt a call on our hearts to foster. And the following summer, we welcomed Jonathan into our home. He was the first of any of our children to come home to us from the hospital. If it weren't for Journey Church and the community of people that God has blessed us with, I really don't think I would be here today to tell you my story. I'd gone on to join other groups and even lead groups with some of the same women that helped me heal from the beginning. There are so many people who have been able to speak into our lives and help us find the next step. Having these relationships that started in groups with people that love God and walk with Jesus and are willing to walk with us through the hardest days of our lives is invaluable.